Okay.
Hey, we're back.
We're back. Had to take care of some cats. Had to give them some pets. Let them purr it out.
Talk about the cats.
Talk about the cats.
You gotta do it. Oh, this, I grabbed this bottle as if it were the glass that I had poured the bottle into. And yet it was not.
Yeah. This beer's tasty.
It is good. It's
potent.
It's got Satan on it and lightning. It looks like he has lightning hands. Like he's like... That's what he's doing with his hands.
He's clinking.
If I can give you a sonic representation...
Yeah, that's probably coming through pretty loud on the recording.
Yeah, sorry about that.
You're not clipping my peaks at all or anything.
Forgive me. It's going to multi... Oh, no. A worm... Nope, nothing to justify my behavior. Nothing at all.
It does have something to justify your behavior.
What's that?
The fact that it is 10.5% alcohol by volume.
It's
It's like drinking 2.5 beers at once.
And yet I have consumed almost none of the beer. Currently.
He said, holding up a nearly empty glass.
Oh ho ho.
I am savoring mine. Also, I'm playing this game.
Yeah, that's true.
And I'm talking. All of which combine to make it somewhat difficult to...
It does. It's true.
Consume the beers. I'm almost... No. It's not an almost. I'm looking forward to the games that have more cutscene content.
Yeah.
If only because it gives me more opportunity to drink a beer.
You can switch off, too, honestly.
Stretch. I mean, it doesn't bother me, but... It is a funny thing about this game.
It is nonstop, yeah.
It doesn't look like a game that requires you to be really focused and pressing buttons all the time, but it ends up being that way. Although really, for these fights especially, what I've been doing is, I get into a fight, and then as soon as the fight starts...
You take your hand off the arrow keys,
just press A.
Absolutely. Oh, and look at that, yeah, we've already got 20,000 gold again.
Yeah, that's the thing, is that I'm not worried about the gold loss at all.
It bonk bonk.
I'm just worried about surviving the trip to Cantlin.
Yeah, we'll probably have to head back to town soon.
Well, yeah, I want to head back to town, then I want to give Cantlin a shot, because now that we have Heal More, it's going to make a big difference.
Moving south and fighting the Star Wyverns.
Yeah, I want to have MP before we do that.
We could also even just try Hawk's Nest, because I believe there's Star Wyverns in Hawk's Nest.
You're right.
As a test, it's a teaster.
As a teast. What a teast.
Taste. Hot toast on.
So you played anything this week?
No, game-wise you mean? Yeah. However, no, but I did start working on a Twine game.
Yeah, you mentioned that.
I'm excited about it. I've only had a couple of nights where I can actually sit down and spend time with it. But of course, because I'm terrible at approaching these sorts of things. There's a little free document that Anthropy put together called how to build your first video game, how to make your first video game in Twine, and it kind of gives you all the basics, which is really cool. Except when I sit down and I'm starting it, I'm like, I want to know how to do something complicated, it's not even that complicated of a thing. Twines are HTML documents, so I wanted to change the background color depending on what passage I'm in. For someone who has had very little HTML and CSS experience, it's surprisingly difficult. So it took me a long time to figure out how to control individual background colors with a CSS style sheet passage built into the game. But I actually figured it out. So
nice.
I've got rudimentary variables working. Still trying to parse out how to exactly modify individual pieces, get scripts working. There are lots of people who have pre-built scripts that you can use, to rotate text, or there's lots of things you can do. It blows my mind. I'm a huge fan of Porpentine, and her Twine games. But I'm looking at I look at some of her games and the simple, seemingly simple things that happen. Imagine this: it's a simple hyperlink. You click on it, it changes text. 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 You click on it again, it launches you to a new passage. I have no idea how to do that. The thing is, with the tools available, it's probably a specific script that does that. But I don't know how to get it working. That all said, I'm pretty excited about what I'm.
What's the story you're trying to tell, or what's the experience?
The basic mechanic that I want, that I've set variables for, is that, and it's partially as a result of our Dragon Warrior LP, is I want you to be able to descend into this tomb. You encounter various monsters, and your major option is whether or not you assist them or kill them. If you assist them, it costs you physically, so you must literally render parts of your body onto them and give them your skin, muscles, organs until you get to the bottom. And that's kind of that's the major thing, and it's kind of whether you will use your power to destroy them or give of yourself to support them, and what the consequences will be. That's the plan anyway.
That's cool, man.
Yeah, I'm excited about it. Like, it doesn't have to be complicated. I think I've just made it more complicated than it needs to be, because Twine's actually really easy to use if you just use it, very basically.
Right. That's been my experience with Premiere as well, is that a lot of the editing I do for these videos is very basic. And then today, there was a situation in one of the videos that made it so that I kind of wanted to know how to get a still image in there and animate it. Yeah, that's the kind of exactly this. So I did kind of figure that out. It wasn't terribly complicated, though. Premiere is a very user-friendly... if you're willing to just, like, look up whatever you're trying to do in Google and click on the very first YouTube link of whatever pops up, it's often enough to get it figured out for you.
See, like, I learned things, but it took me, like, hours to figure some of these things out just because they're very, like, small things. Like, in Twine, you create individual passages, and then you link between them via... You basically put double brackets around something, and it becomes a link to another passage. You can control the HTML style of a passage by creating a style sheet. If you create a style sheet, it's CSS code that governs what the passage looks like. You can create more than one style sheet and then give it a separate tag. But you have to always tag it style sheet space something. It took me, because I couldn't really figure it out, and I'm not sure it's really indicated anywhere. Like, if one of mine I named style sheet space planes, you would think that would be the whole tag. So if you put that tag in another passage, style sheet space planes, it doesn't do anything. You have to just put planes, and then it connects them. So it took me a really long time just to, like, figure out basics like that, and then I sort of get it.
Yeah.
It'd be easy to teach someone else now that particular thing, but
yeah, I bet it doesn't have as... Definitely, at this point, wouldn't have as robust of a resource base for instruction and learning in the system as something as established as Premiere has now.
Yeah, I mean, there are some people who put together guides, like Anthropy, like, and hers basically runs through how to do everything, even down to including, like, including variables. So, like, if you visit this slide, X becomes true. You know what I mean? And you can do... I think that's kind of where it becomes game-ick. You know what I mean? Like... Woo.
We're walking home, boys.
Because it's kind of like you can't visit this section until you've done X or acquired X object. But some of it gets really crazy. Like, you could create a text room, say, and there's scripts that you could use in JavaScript that people have pre-written. That's like you interact with an item, and it affects a variable when you click it in the room. And thus, it's like, you see a wine casket, drink, and then it changes the text to say the wine casket is half full. And the variable is like drunk equals yes now as a result of you clicking the link. But it's a script that requires you to do that, and it's fairly complicated. Like, somebody actually had to write it who knows JavaScript. So you're just essentially copying it, but even implementing it for me, who's kind of fairly illiterate in those sorts of things, it's kind of difficult. I just need to learn more.
It does seem like the kind of thing where there's a lot to learn and a lot of things that become possible the more you're willing to invest the time into, like, know how to do that stuff.
Yeah, the nice thing, in all honesty, is that you can just sit down and start making something if you really wanted to. You don't have to do those things unless you're, it's just
trying to get fancy.
Yeah, exactly. I'm just kind of, and as a lot of people have said, like, the most important thing really is just, like, finishing something and making something rather than just getting stuck on it.
It's not art till it's finished.
Exactly. But I'm pretty excited about it. I think I have the basics for how I'll build that. Blah, blah, blah. But, yeah. Twine is cool.
Cats are cool a lot of the time, except for when they're trying to be in your lap all the time.
Charlie.
I don't know that he responds to Gregorian chant.
Oh, we tried this earlier. Remember, I summoned him. Yeah, what is happening right now?
He's just curling up and going to sleep in my lap
Yep.
while I'm trying to play a game.
Show is.
Unhelpful. I think it's because normally this is fine. I do play games with my cat in my lap all the time. It's a lot harder when the way that I'm playing the game is with a keyboard also on my lap.
Yeah.
That is what the struggle is right now.
It's true.
But Lord's coming was foretold by legend.
It's true.
Alright. We're going to take the long road to Cantlin.
Should we save? We should visit the
Yeah,
king.
we should probably save, I guess.
Our old buddy Lurik.
Kind of bad about that.
Yeah.
I'm not going to lie. I'm a bad saver.
Oh, I also had this weird experience recently. It's not really an experience at all, but I might have even sent you these, Ryan. Do you remember? I don't know. Like a couple years ago, I hadn't heard of this. It's called Ludum Dare.
I always read that as Ludum Dare.
Yeah, yeah.
But
exactly.
it's because I don't know anything about what that is. It's a game
It's like
competition,
to give
right?
games or something. Yeah. It's like an indie game thing. But I remember on Rock Paper Shotgun reading like collections of those games, and there was one in particular that was I remember playing, and I feel bad I don't remember the name, but it's like you wander around in a little foggy city, and you can inscribe symbols on the walls or something like that, or say hello. Or there's a couple.
I played that. I remember that one. I don't remember what it's called.
I don't
know
remember
exactly
if I
what
sent
you're
it
talking
to you
about.
or if we talked about it ever, but I remember playing it too.
I don't think you sent it to me at all. I'm pretty sure I have. Well,
Yeah.
it's not that I'm pretty sure. I have a subscription to the RSS feed that Rock Paper Shotgun puts out, and I think I read the same article.
The thing that blew my mind now is because I just experienced. I've just been playing some of Porpentine's games. She's the one who wrote the articles on Rock Paper Shotgun all those years ago.
Really?
Yeah, she used to like curate lists of indie games.
Did she go by Porpentine at that point?
Yeah, the articles written by Porpentine. I guess I just didn't pay attention to it at the time, but I went back because I was trying because I found out she wrote those articles, and I was like, I remember this specific article, like, and it was probably 2 or 3 years ago, maybe. But that game I remember specifically just being kind of weird, especially because it wasn't quite clear whether it had an online component and whether you're interacting with other real humans. I don't know. But
it reminded me very much of the message system in Dark Souls.
Yeah, exactly.
It seemed like it was just that made into a game.
I read in kind of a similar situation. I read in the Rise of the Video Game Zinesters. I forget what the game is called because I can't remember. My memory is terrible. But the basic premise of the game is that you are a cyclops, I believe, or a giant of some kind. And the goal in this world is to reach like the star at the top of the Earth or something like that. The catch is you have one character ever, and the only way that you can ascend this mountain is by forming a pathway out of the bodies of the dead. So you ascend and sacrifice yourself at a position, and then you are permanently part of the game world there, but you can never play the game again.
How does it stop?
I'm assuming it's browser based in some sense, so maybe you could if you joined another IP or something like that. But the idea being that you sacrifice your character for others to ascend upon your body. Yeah.
So really, there can only ever be one winner, or is there just no winner, and it's just really
I think
more
maybe
about the tower just growing?
I have never actually tried it. I just remember reading the anecdote about it. It's possible maybe somebody has finished it. I don't know.
It reminds me of that iPhone game that Peter Molyneux put out that was just everyone digging to the center of this enormous cube by eliminating tiny cubes along the outside.
Interesting.
And then there was like a big prize for the person who got to the center. You know what I'm talking about?
I think so. Man.
Let's see how far we can get.
I also started playing... Oh, yeah, I think I remember these, actually.
Nice.
Haha, ooh, it still hits pretty hard.
He does a little chunk. But he's going to spend half his turns casting spells that he's not able to cast.
There's a developer, I think her name is Lilith, who made a game called Crypt Worlds. Have you heard of this?
I don't think
It is made in Unity, I believe, but it's like, I don't know, it's really awesome. It's like, complete janky 3D, like classic, like kind of that Windows Labyrinth style weird 3D. But it also has tons of like weird JPEG images, like Doom style.
Mm-hmm.
They kind of follow you as you look at them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, right.
But it has a unique world, and one of the there are lots of... You can collect a lot of random resources like seeds and meat and bones and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. And then you have a...
I have Erdrick's armor.
Oh, that's right. You have a piss meter. One of the mechanics is that you can interact with things.
I thought you were talking about Dragon Warrior.
No.
I was like, what?
No, but you...
I mean, it still is a crazy thing to say, but sure.
You have a piss meter, and you can interact with a lot of things in the world by pissing on them. And they do that. Yeah, it's incredible. And
that's hilarious.
And I realized after reading about it a little bit, there's actually multiple endings. Like, you're charged at the beginning by the unicorn goddess to do something, like acquire certain artifacts or something. But you can also acquire the something Tears of God and summon the Chaos God, and it will destroy the world. And then I believe there might be another ending. But it just is a really cool... I don't know. It's really, really cool.
It's pretty rad.
Whoa. Yeah, it's called Crypt Worlds. Recommended that you check it out.
I don't think I've ever played a game with a piss meter.
That'd
be a novel experience.
It's incredible. I mean, I don't know. Everything about it just has an incredible magic to it. It's like, if you go to the website, there's like hand-drawn guides to it and stuff like that. Like, I don't know. It's that like weird magical shareware spirit. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely.
Like I see that weird concrete castle dungeon where all the paintings lead to the games. That it's like I can almost barely conceive of the mentality nowadays that we could produce something like that. You know what I mean? Like let's create something weird just to interface with it. You know what I mean? Like that would be cool. Like that's just what they thought.
There was some gaming project, or I don't remember what exactly it was.
Yeah.
Jesus, this is just a maze.
Ooh,
but it was like a game that was just on a thumbstick that you could only play once, and then you had to pass it to someone else.
Yeah.
I don't remember what that was.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
You know what I'm talking about?
I do know what you're talking about. Porpentine also had a game too. I don't know that it's available anymore. But I read about it in the Laura Hudson article, and I clarified it was the New York Times, not the New Yorker. I'm an idiot. I know.
I figured as soon as you looked at what a New Yorker is and what a New York Times is, one is a newspaper, the other is a magazine.
Yeah, I'm so stupid.
It's fine. It's just a funny thing.
That's what, I just can't remember words like that. But anyway, it was the New York Times. Anyway. The game was... Oh, I'm going to fuck up the name, but I'm pretty sure it's called, like, something... Like... I'm probably going to completely distort the actual meaning, but it's like everything you love comes up as a stone or something like that. I think the central mechanic of the game is you have a counter... And I think it's just the amount of time that it takes to do things in your daily life or something like that. I'm so sorry, if anyone's listening to this, I'm totally fucking this up, but because I've never played it, I just remember reading about it. Yeah, I think the idea being like passing time. It's really a game that's about like suicidal ideation. And like it'll be something like one click will move you forward one click will move you forward one. Eventually it'll move you forward 10,000, and then you try to go back, and it's like it's endless. You know what I mean? And it's these kind of like I don't know, aspects of mirroring those experiences in the game, even just through Twine. I don't know. There's just really kind of interesting things that people are doing with that. I don't know why I was talking about that, but...
Games.
Oh, no, you were saying the thumb drive.
Yeah, that thumb drive game.
The game was only available for like 24 hours. Part of I think the reasoning was... I think it was like a plea to help people who are feeling in that situation. You know what I mean? Like, they're only going... Maybe those people will only be here for 24 hours. You know what I mean? Then they're never here again.
I was reading One of the books that I read while I was on my cruise was The Moth, which is a collection of spoken word short stories that are shared at a gathering called The Moth in New York City.
Okay.
Where people who are storytellers come out and tell a ostensibly true story from their life about whatever. And the Moth book is transcripts of those spoken word stories.
Yeah.
One of them was a story from, we got cat interference, I'm sure it's fine. A story from someone who worked at a suicide hotline call center.
Really? And
who was like the person who worked there the longest, because most people, I can't remember if it was like 6 weeks or 6 months, but most people who work at one quit after that. A very short amount of time. It's a huge burden.
It's emotionally taxing.
Burden.
Yeah. I can imagine that.
And talking about how they managed to stick around, and then a wild story, but it just reminds me of that and how impossible it is to be in the position to try to help someone who's in that spot in their life.
Yeah, I mean, I think part of that's what's so cool about this, and Rise of the Video Games Industry kind of gets to it, but I don't know that it explicitly talks about that as a, Porpoise's games often deal with trauma. And, obviously mainstream games aren't going to touch a topic like that and try and have the mechanics mirror the experience of feeling suicidal. It connects into modern, a lot of modern gaming things. At the center of the whole Gamergate thing was Zoe Quinn. There was a lot, there was a cute, stuff was going around, but Zoe Quinn was the one who made Depression Quest.
Yes.
And I believe, sadly I haven't played it yet. But I believe part of the mechanic of the game is that as you move forward in the game, the options become not available to you. To get out of bed, you can't. And things like that.
I played Depression Quest. I thought it was a really smart representation of what goes on in that situation.
Yeah. I just think I just find, that really valuable, I guess.
Yeah.
And
it was definitely sad to hear that the creator of that was getting attacked so viciously online.
Yeah, absolutely. And
there's a town somewhere here.
Maybe we're near Catlin.
I feel like we've gone in a big circle.
Really?
Yeah.
We got knights. How did we get over here? Is there an exit or entrance to that area in the north?
I think there's 2 entrances to this south central continent area, and I know Cantlin's in it. It's just I don't know where, but I need to go back really and recharge before I try to go in there.
Yeah,
again.
I think that's fair.
It's really what I should do is just return and try again. This is kind of aggravating though. The whole place in there is just kind of a big maze.
That's actually kind of unprecedented in this game, in the overworld anyway. Playing Crypt Worlds though made me really wonder how I wish I knew how Unity worked and what you have to do to build a game like that. It was very, very cool.
I bet it is more complicated than Twine.
Oh my gosh, yes. Twine isn't the only thing that's mentioned in Rise of the Video Games Zinsters. There's other, Game Maker is one, which I don't know much about.
Game Maker Studio?
I think so. Yeah. I think she kind of also advocates for some of the free versions because Game Maker kind of now charges you for it a certain amount, it's actual software. But there's one too that she wrote a book about. I don't know anything about this except what she's written, a little bit that I've read. It's called ZZT, which was
never even heard of that.
I'm gonna fuck it up. I'm fucking up everything I'm talking about, but I think it was either a program on an older computer system, but basically it let you make games with simplistic commands for each object in the game world, if I'm not mistaken. But everything was ASCII, so it was but like Rogue kind of style, where everything was represented visually, and you could use pretty much any character representable by some sort of text icon.
Okay.
Even clubs and stuff from card game, you know what I mean, in pluses and you could, I don't know,
extended ASCII basically.
Yeah, exactly. But apparently you can do cool stuff with it. But it's beyond my scope.
Yeah, I've never messed with that kind of stuff. I'm pretty sure I've had RPG Maker, and then like dicked around with it for like half a second and dropped it. And then there was also, what was the Jason Rohrer game where you were a storyteller and you made an experience for someone to play through, and then like you could on the fly generate levels while they were telling you what they wanted to do. I had that and I played a little bit of it.
Yeah.
Usually as the person who was being told the story, because I was not confident in my ability to generate an experience for someone on the fly.
Wow.
Which is a genius idea. Jason Rohrer is a genius. Like, if you're not familiar with his work, you should look it up.
I don't know how familiar I am with that, honestly.
It's something sleep, something.
Oh, wait, yep. I think I know what you're talking about.
I don't remember.
Because I remember, I think Anthony Birch doing it.
Yeah. Because Rohrer has also done like Castle Doctrine, and then recently.
Yep, I know what you're talking about.
I can't remember the name of his most recent project, but I have an alpha invite that I haven't used. My understanding is that it uses real money and is kind of like gambling, so I wasn't super high on it. But
I do know exactly what you're talking about. Oh man.
Putting our research assistants onto it.
That's right. Our numerous interns.
Mm-hmm.
Sleep no more? No. Sleep is death.
Yes.
That's
yep,
it.
Yep. Sleep is death.
Yep. Oh my goodness, man.
That was a really fascinating project of his.
I think, honestly, and it is just, my obsessive tendencies with things like this, but there's so many cool things coming out in the indie community.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it's probably just me not being connected to the right channels, but I wish I could figure out, how to find them all. Like, it's like I feel like stumbling upon fragments,
Yeah.
And I think
that's tough.
Something I read recently, maybe it was a tweet or something, but it was just like there are hundreds, maybe I think it was actually, I'm still following Jonathan Blow on Twitter, but it was something like there are 300 some indie games published a day, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's like, it's hard to...
When's he gonna put out The Witness? I want to play that game. Looks good.
I don't know. Did we mention your Braid history? Do you care to mention your Braid history?
It's a thing I did. I wrote a guide for Braid.
Yeah.
Because I really like that game. Although, I'm not even terribly proud of that as a project because it didn't cover the stars that you can get in that game, and those are the things that are probably like the biggest project to try to describe to someone in a written format.
Yeah.
Like, it is really hard to explain some of the stuff that you have to do just because the nature of that game is so complicated.
Mm-hmm.
And like the machinations that you have to perform to make yourself reach some of the stars is just like, it's mind bending. Like, it's just kind of like a feel thing almost. Like, you just kind of manipulate the time stream in just such a way that you manage to succeed and make your character be in a place that it really shouldn't be. And there's probably internal logic to it, but I'm not even sure I fully understand it. Like, I don't know. That game is also something I consider to be a real work of genius because, like, it takes the logical extent of being able to control time and manipulating time as part of your core gameplay in a platformer and takes it to, like, the absolute limit of what I think is even possible in a game environment. Like, I don't know. If you haven't played Braid, you should play Braid. Ignore people who say stupid shit about it. I don't know. That game got a lot of hate, and I don't really understand why, because it is just really smart. It's a really smart game. There was a video of, like, some rapper playing it and, like, laughing about how, like, he doesn't die, he just comes right back, and it's like, I don't think you're really understanding what this game's about, but okay. I don't know. Braid's a fascinating game. Braid is one of the games that I connected with my now wife about and sort of showed her what games really are and got her very into games, so holds a special place in my heart. And I spent all the time to write that guide. So.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Certainly have never done that.
This werewolf sucked me up right now.
Why is this werewolf so strong?
So strong.
So strong. Damn, man. Bride. Yeah.
You played Braid.
I did play Braid. I wasn't very good at Braid, but I did finish it. I never got the actual ending, I don't think.
The real ending with all the puzzle pieces?
I watched it, I think, but I was honestly I'm not that good of a puzzler to have solved it, I think.
I'm pretty sure I still have it installed on my 360, and I probably still have a save file that has all the puzzle pieces and all the stars.
Like, I found it very interesting. You're right though. Like, some of those things are just kind of
and what you were doing was just for the puzzle pieces to get all the stars. You have to do even weirder stuff, like stuff that I still don't fully understand. Like, one of the worlds in that game, the whole central conceit of Braid is that you can press a button to rewind time. And then there are things that are impervious to your time rewinding powers. And there's other sort of things. But one of the worlds has a mechanic where as you move from left to right, the timeline moves forward. And your control over time just reverses your character through the positions he's been in. It doesn't actually affect time itself. So when you're standing still, time is stopped. The enemies don't move around you. Right. And getting to the stars, I don't remember, I think it's just one, but in that environment is so crazy. Like, it involves you like bouncing up a enemy that's dying, but you're moving backwards in time so it doesn't die, so you can just keep bouncing on it over and over. I don't know, it's super
crazy. I mean, I guess what's so cool about it is that it has pretty much thoroughly and completely interrogated the mechanic that it chose as a...
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, is that like, not only did it do a novel thing, it did a novel thing to the point where, like, I don't think you could do anything else to that in the context of a platformer. Like,
it's fascinating.
He just took that idea and took it to the absolute logical limit.
Wow.
Yeah, that's why, I want to see The Witness, just because I have faith in him as a designer, Jason Rohrer as a designer, that he will produce something that, really takes its central idea, and a central idea that is in itself interesting, and blows it into the most insane possible thing. Okay, finally.